is logged into their bank accounts from their machine. Okay, so how is the banks meant to know that this is a fraudulent transaction? And hence, session writing. So the first versions that we saw, the session writing of, taking over that particular session and doing an extra transaction, were largely manual. It's now been scripted. So what does it really look like? So from a man in the browser, from the proxy Trojan. So the user logs in. Don't care what sort of authentication system or whatever. Let's assume that that's totally secure. Okay. What's going on is, as soon as they have logged in, the malware kicks up. It actually starts really doing its actions. So the first thing it does is it intercepts every single transaction. Okay. Every single transaction, it adds another transaction or changes the value of that transaction. It keeps a log of those transactions, calculates what's supposed to be in the count in the return pages, modifies those pages and sends it back to the user. So not only has it done a two transaction or an extra transaction while you've been logged in, it's also removed all evidence that you can see from within that web browser. Okay. So this type of technology of actually doing this has been around for about a year now. Okay. Now part of this is really about, different countries have different regulations about if someone steals money from my bank account, how long is the bank liable for? So by operating this way, by hiding the transaction of stolen money from the end user, a lot of countries only have 30 days or 60 days. So therefore, after 30 days or 60 days, if you haven't notified the bank that you've had money stolen, the bank is no longer responsible for trying to get it back to you. So if I can use this malware and keep those people duped for that long, they're not going to be able to come after me and reverse those transactions out anymore. So the money is now mine. It becomes a user problem after that time. So yeah.
How can bank prevent it? I believe it's the user's problem from the beginning.
Well, it's down to the countries. Different countries have different banking regulations. So for instance, in the UK, the bank is always responsible for any money that comes out of your transactions. So even if it's a year later and you say it was fraudulent, and you can prove it was fraudulent, then they are bound to repay that money. Okay. So it depends a little bit on which countries.
But banks only send the money to other banks that you already provisioned in your account.
Correct.
So I have an account that just goes to one account.
True.
Another account.
True, but then there's a whole other facet to the criminal side of the mule accounts, so the money mules, and the way that the money is transferred one account to another account. You've probably seen spam that comes in saying, work from home, earn $2,000 a day. All you need to do is have a bank account in this bank, and we'll transfer money into your bank account. You transfer 90% onto another account we give you, or write a check out. So you keep 10% of all the money in there. Great.
I understand,
So,
but if I have an account in the bank, but another account is like a checking account, and I want to transfer money between my bank account and my checking account, and vice versa, I configure the accounts where it can go to. It can't go to any other place. How they don't overcome that?
I'll get to that one.
I mean, and then there's got to be out-of-band confirmation of that account. There's ways around protection on this stuff.
True. And this is where it gets interesting. So let's look at the transaction validation. So what you normally expect is, to do a transaction online, you'll do several different pieces of information. You'll have to supply who it's going to go to, how much is it going to be, and basically click OK or submit. And so to prevent additional transactions actually occurring, most sort of banks now ask for a validation code. So this validation code may be a token that they've sent you saying, we've received your information, but just to make sure that this wasn't sent from a rogue machine and things like that, type in this validation key into this form. Click submit, and then you basically say, okay, confirmation, transfer is complete. We've now validated that you said that you wanted to do this transaction, and you validated that you saw the right transaction, and you've said it's okay, so go ahead with this transfer. So what we're then seeing, and this is real, this is how the malware is actually operating, is that you see the same sort of interface of creating your bank transfer. It may be a new account transfer, or it's something a standing order, or an individual single transfer. So while you're filling in those forms, the malware is kicking off in the background and has a second transaction already prepared. Okay. So you go through the submit button. You then get a request for the validation. Okay. However, this submit button and this validation haven't come from the bank. Okay. So the malware has actually created the fake submission button and the fake validation. So you enter the validation information, then you finally click submit, and it comes back with an error message saying, sorry, that didn't work. Okay, it hasn't sent anything to the bank at that stage. And so it says, well, try again, enter a new validation. Okay, and what you're actually doing there is you're validating or providing the validation code for your legitimate transaction. The first time you entered the validation code, that was the validation code for the fraudulent transaction. So by the end, you've clicked submit, and actually what's happened is that there have been 2 transactions going on at the same time. Okay, and they've been fully validated. Okay. And of course, you know, evil hacker runs off with the money. So what's the bank's response? You know, and so where is the cutting edge of banking technology to protect against these things today? Okay. So the customer has to enter in the same sort of data about transaction, but now we're going to create a token for that transaction. And we're going to make that token based on a physical piece of data. Okay. So we're going to take the user's identity, we're going to take a date timestamp, we're going to take all the details that they had about, you know, how much money in the 2 accounts, and then we're going to give them a physical device to calculate the stuff, and they have some randomness in it, and I'm going to generate a unique key. Okay. So the only way that I can get a second transaction is someone has to go through this process of keying these things back into their calculator to be able to carry out that transaction. Okay. So what does it really look like? So chip and pin transfers, you know, so using these calculators, what you see most popular, especially in Europe at the moment. They started off really in South America, and they're about 2 years old. Unfortunately, they were broken about a year ago. Okay, and this is how it's done. So normally what you have is to go through this process, you go through multiple pages. The first page, which account do you want to send data to? Then you have to go to another page that says, well, how much do you want to send it? You know, how much do you actually want to send? You go into another page, are the details correct? Are you absolutely sure? You then get a page about the instructions and what you need to do using your calculator, type this in, and eventually you get the validation complete. Okay. So with that, your transaction's complete. So what does the malware actually do on this? The malware side is fairly simple. You go through the first 4 pages. Remember, this is a 5-page process. Goes through this first 4 pages, and then the malware starts kicking in. Okay. And so what the malware does is it's created a 5th page. And what it's asking for is a security validation code. Okay. And that validation page requires you to do the same chip and pin technology as well. So it's telling you, it's giving you the instructions about what to do there, and it's called a security code to validate this transaction. So at the end of the day, you've actually used the calculator twice. Okay. And of course, at the end, so you've got a 6th page, then the validation complete. So the malware has inserted an extra page to steal this data. And that's really been what we're sort of seeing on bypassing the chip and pin technologies. So we have, you know, the response has really been to ask the victim for that extra information. So here we see the types of data that you'd be typing into a calculator would be the account number and the amount that you want to send. Okay. And so what we see from the social engineering side on the security page is that they asked you to type in the security code and an amount. And the amount happens to be the same that you wanted to do the first time. But if you have a look at the security code, you'll see it's the same number of digits as an account, and actually that security code is the account that they want to transfer the money to. Okay. So at the end of the day, you know, the malware has provided the tool and the technology to be able to carry out this social engineering that's actually been successful, and it's bypassed the latest technologies. So what happens if you go now out of band, completely out of band, okay, and you require them to receive, provide things such as an SMS text alert of a transaction, or take an SMS text message with the transaction code that you now need to type in.